Second one today, even though I got pulled off, but yeah, we'll fight hard. And if we find the opportunity to get off the line and in the lead, then obviously that'll be great. If not, we'll just work on being as close as we can at the bottom.
Was that approach to race 2, was that a one-off that you only get to try once, a surprise one? Or?
No, it's just boat positioning and trying to make advantage of certain timing. The first race tomorrow is sort of pretty neutral, or maybe even a slight flood, and then the second race we're into an ebb, so it'll change the dynamic of the starting a little bit.
Which of those conditions would you favour tomorrow? Would favour you, do you think? Which of the two races?
Look, we're happy to race in anything. It's I think we.
If you can look at.
If we had. Continue racing that second one. We're pretty happy with the way the boat was going.
So it's about the start of the second one. It looks like you had it completely nailed.
We're really happy with the way it worked out. We had to work hard on making sure that we dragged them off the ley line, and then we had a nice time and distance, and it all worked out pretty well. But unfortunately, the race got called off.
Did that give away your plan?
Well, no, I think you've got to be able to adapt quickly, and there's no plan that's going to work every time. I'm sure they'll look at what we did and try and figure out how to counter that tomorrow, and we've got to look at other ways to try and get advantage out of the starboard entry.
It looked like you picked up a bit more speed at wind again. What did you do differently?
Well, we've made some mods to the boat, particularly for the sort of uprange conditions. We felt that Oracle certainly were going pretty well on that stuff, so we wanted to be able to move towards them in those conditions. So the fairings are a bit different and a little bit in the configuration, but all in all, it's just subtle changes.
Did it feel different?
Oh yeah, definitely. You notice the change straight away. It's one of the nice things with this team is the design guys. They're not too big to eat a little bit of humble pie, and re-look at a lot of the decisions that were made and sort of figure out how we can make improvements. And while Oracle being obviously improving, we know we have to keep improving as well.
A little bit of sticky back out there. Looked like you had a bit of a problem. What was the scenario there?
Well, with a strong ebb, we had up to 3 knots of ebb. It was kicked up some decent waves. We just must have caught one decent wave up underneath that fairing underneath the wing, and it basically punctured the closer. So a little piece of that had come away, but the problem is it becomes quite draggy if it keeps sort of pulling away. So we were repairing that, ready for race 2 if and when they basically got it running again. So.
Okay, match point, mood in the camp.
It's funny, it feels a lot better being 1 away than 2, but it still feels a long way. We know we've got to win another point, and we'll just be as focused as we have been on trying to go out and win one of the races tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Did you think about the start of the second race? Did you be disappointed that didn't go on, considering?
It's the second time I've been in the league when the race has been called off, but we understand it's the win limits are in place, and that's the way it is. So we respect that.
There's no sense of frustration about that.
No, it would have been nice if it had carried on, but you just think in the end it was the right decision. It was pretty breezy, and who knows how the rest of the race would have played out.
What's it like back home?
I don't know.
Checking in back there at all?
No, I want to know.
Okay.
Here's that. Love your work.
Did the team agree to those win limits, or were they imposed by the protocol and together directly?
No, the win limits were imposed as part of the safety review that was done, and we were in favour of a higher win limit, but we're prepared to agree to the limits that were put in place because it meant that all the recommendations at that stage would go through.
It was very unusual to have the win limit reduced because of the child, isn't it?
Well, in a place like this, you have to have a net number because 23 knots with 3 knots of ebb is obviously 26 knots on the boat, and as opposed to 23 and 3 knots of flood, with the only 20. So it is quite a big discrepancy if you just have a wind number. So I think you have to factor the current in.
What was your sort of strategy in that start? It was quite different from what's been followed in previous starts. Where did you sort of come up with that? Was that before the race, or did you just do that having known the outcome of the first race?
Well, I think you've got to be able to sort of adapt quickly out there, because it's pretty full on. When we entered in that second one, it was a pretty good breeze and decent waves, and so a lot of it's just boat handling. Making sure you don't sort of lose the start before you've actually started. And we decided, rather than following them down, we didn't have a great first jibe, and we just thought it was better at that point to tack around and try and get the action back a bit closer to the start line. So,
what did you do? Did you do more of a timed run at that start than a match racing start?
It was more of a, in the end it was, we had to push them off the ley line, and then it was sort of came down to a bit of time and distance, and we judged it turned out pretty well. But we've got to do it again tomorrow now.
Dean, at this point of the race, it looks like the most crucial part of the Cup has been the 10 seconds where you spent about 45 degrees.
But we just got to keep our heads screwed on.
Is it the hardest one to win, you think?
This has been an extremely hard Cup on many levels to win, right from funding and putting the whole team together, and Dalt's has done a phenomenal job on that side of things. A lot of the Cup is potentially won, a year before to even have a chance of having a crack on the water. So as a whole, this America's Cup's been extremely difficult.
And Grant's decision to come off the boat, because he was sort of listed down to do both.
I think it's just how Dalt's is really feeling. It was a very tough physical race, that one, and it makes sense. If you've had a tough physical race to bring on some fresh guns. It's not a big deal for us, to be honest. Either way, both Dalt's and Winnie have studied their role really well, and they're putting in.
I don't know if you suggested he got off to sign the Challenger of Record.
No, I think that's a bit unlikely. And
Ray, setting.
Got a score hold, whether it's mono or multis.
Okay, now this is more or less for our Toyota moment. Now we would have been great to interview you after the last one, not whatever the last race was. When it's all on the tactical calls. How are you able to make all those tactical calls when there's so much going on and it's at such a high speed?
You just sort of, that's your job, that's what you have to do. And, we all do all sorts of different types of racing, and you get put under pressure all the time, and that's just how you evolve as a tactician, is you do have to make decisions under pressure, and it's just another day at the office, really. That's just what you do.
What about the layout of the boat? How might that have helped you in that you seem to be in better touch with Dino than Jimmy Spittle is with Ben Ainsley?
Yeah, I really do like our layout. I've got the option to float in and out and move around the boat and get to leeward and have a look around, where a lot of the time that's pretty important too. And it's very easy for us to move around on our boat. They find that hard on their boat for sure. It's good being really close to Dean, because sometimes even the communication system isn't the best at times, so it's good to be able to be close and tap him on the shoulder if I need to, and we can keep eye contact. It works well.
One more to go, match point, mindset?
We just got to keep going out and doing what we're doing. These guys are no mugs, they're at the top of the game as well, so we've got to take them deadly serious, and we can't afford to hold back at all. We've got to keep the foot on the throat. Okay.